Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? Join us in another Journey Live. Hope you're having an amazing evening. ¿Cómo estamos, amigos? Muy buenas noches. Bienvenidos. Hola, hola, hola. I don't know what's up with that. It's like English, scream. Spanish, very low, you know. The sensual Spanish. Hello, Jerry. How are you? How is everybody's, what are we in? Wednesday? How's everybody's Wednesday today? Hope it's been good. Let's go ahead and get together, interact, chat, wherever it is you are. Hi, hi, hi. Some crazy world, the one we're living in, right? But every day, remember, we talked Monday about gratitude, so I hope that you're doing your homework. I hope that you're waking up with the best vibes ever. Even if the world is going crazy around you, at least your mind is stable and your mind is relaxed and you're focused on what you want and what you want to achieve in the things that you want to attract in your everyday life. And of course, focus on your emotions, like we always say, okay? So in today's news, we are going to talk a little bit. Let me go. If you guys, by the way, have anything you want to talk about, please let me know. So this is from Edition CNN, and it says near-death experiences tied to brain activity after death. This is a study that actually went along. I'm really excited for the fact that they're coming out with studies when it comes to the paranormal and, you know, spirituality and things that are not necessarily talked on by science so much because, well, without proof, nobody believes it. But then it comes to you guys to actually have these experiences and see what happens. Hola, Karen, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenidos a Argentina. Hola, hola. MD, what's up? Love you. Thank you. Welcome. ¿Alguno de ustedes ha tenido una experiencia cercana a la muerte? Cuéntenme, por favor, que la ciencia va tardada, pero llega eventualmente. So science is a little bit, you know, slow in all these things, but I like to think that the more of these news that come out, the more it becomes a little bit more normal, and we stop fearing death so much. Death isn't something to be afraid of. You know, there is something else so beautiful out there, and we are just here temporarily in this physical body, but, you know, our physical realm isn't necessarily what's real. Okay, think about when you any of you have any kind of recollection when you were kids or babies of actually being able to perceive or see anything in another dimension? I'm interested. Or do you remember maybe when your kids were little, if they would see something and tell you about it? Like the boogeyman in the closet or fairies or, you know, any of that stuff. I'm interested. Let me know. Hello, James. Welcome, guys. What's up, everyone? Enjoy the ride. Absolutely. We got to enjoy the ride, guys. Let's not forget to show the comments on the video. And I am reading you, by the way, if you're talking to us in Facebook, I think it is, or YouTube, I have you, and our members chat, I have it opened over here. So I got you guys. Okay, so let's see what this says. Now I'm all over the place, my bad. All right, so study says, surgeons were about to saw through an 80-year-old Aubrey Austin's chest after a heart attack happened in December 2020, when he suddenly became conscious. Okay, so that sucks. Can you imagine you're about to be sewn up and all of a sudden you just come back to life and it's like, wait, what are you doing? Ow. We had a great imagination in the 70s. Come on, it's not imagination. So you remember, what do you remember? Okay, in your imagination, what do you remember seeing? It's not your imagination. Believe it or not, when we are born, we have all of our senses opened and we have that perception a lot more open than we have when we're older because we're not contaminated yet. So our body and our mind is totally awake. It's totally perceptive. So that's why when you see kids, and every time there's more videos of these that you can go online and check, you know, you're going to see kids actually interacting with things that aren't necessarily there. I saw another one, I think 2 weeks ago, where there was a baby in like visiting grandma in a grave, and and she was super happy and looking above her and looking at the grave, and she was laughing and trying to like interact and touch the grave. So there is something there, and we don't see it. Well, mainly we don't see it because we've been contaminated all along, especially with food. You know, food and water. I think it's one of those things that make those perceptions go away, and energy, of course. So no, it's not your imagination. These things exist. These things are real. Now, if you don't want to believe in it, that's another story. But let me tell you, life becomes so much more excited when you actually open up your mind towards that other realm that most people, I would like to say probably 80% of the population, do not know exists, or maybe just decide not to be a part of it because they're afraid of it. So I used to try and dream about playing sports. Visualization, I guess. Okay. That's different. That's actually really good, though. Visualization is one of those like law of attraction. You know, you visualize what you want and you put all your emotions and efforts and desires into it. Did it work for you if you did it right? But I do believe in spirituality. Okay, interesting. So let's see what happened to this guy, by the way. So the guy said, wait a minute, before y'all go on any further, give me some more anesthesia. Could you imagine getting up from a surgery and just like, looking at the guy that's about to sew you up and you're all opened and cut up and be like, whoa, 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 let me go back to this trip that I was just in because it was really great. Give me some more anesthesia, It took me a minute to realize that I wasn't in the same dimension that they were in. So they couldn't hear me anyway. Okay, so the guy was trying to interact. Nothing was coming out. He thought he was communicating, but he wasn't communicating. That reminds me of, is it like paralyzed dreams? No, that's not the name. There's a name, and that used to happen to me when I was a kid, when you're speaking out. Nobody around you can hear you, and you literally are aware that you're in another dimension. There's a movie that they did about this where you're screaming at the person, or you're seeing everything around you, and you're even seeing your body, but nobody can hear you. It's kind of freaky. On occasion, it did seem to work. Okay, no, there's a lot more truth to that than you believe. So make sure, if you used to do it before, why not do it today as well? I mean, visualization is very powerful, but it's even more powerful when you add, the thought of this, the feeling and emotion of desire behind it. So definitely feeling like you really, really want this and have it already, then that's when it kicks in. So it's good. Okay. Austin then watched his body, weaved through the rib cage, and float above the operating table while the surgical team cracked his chest, oh God, cracked his chest open, removed the heart, and began to repair the damage. Soon he heard someone say, "Kidneys." This is crazy. So, okay, that's a little scary for you to be right. So he went into anesthesia, but he was awake. His subconscious was awake, so his soul was literally just watching his body. Qué bien que hables en castellano, alguna vivencia casi en la tragedia. Una vez sí. Uy, sí, amigos, hacíamos antes el programa en inglés en español, pero como lo hemos cortado a media hora, y con el tema de la tecnología todo va tan rápido, lo que vamos a hacer ahora es traducirlo directamente. Sé que les debo algunos, pero poner la traducción en español y ¿cómo es? Y en cualquier momento sale la inteligencia artificial donde van a poder hasta escuchar el inglés. Entonces dijimos, empecemos con el inglés de pleno ya, así por lo menos solo la inteligencia artificial traduce un lenguaje y no dos y no se vuelve loca. Pero sí hablamos español. Hola, hola. Casi en la tragedia. Me interesa saber, cuéntame. So I've had some experiences almost tragically. Oh, wow. Do you remember anything? ¿Te acuerdas de algo? ¿Viste algo? So he watched his body weave through the rib cage. Okay, so he heard kidneys. Both kidneys shut down at the same time. I knew that I was gone, he says. And that's when I went to the next level, Austin said. When I got up there, I was in the presence of God, a powerful presence with light shining from behind him. Okay, so it's a male. Okay, so God is a guy. I love how everybody has a perception when it comes to these things. It's different for everybody, I think, and I also do believe that it has to do with your belief system. And I'm not saying God is a woman. I'm just saying I don't think God has a gender, to be honest with you. The light was brighter than anything I've experienced here on earth, but it wasn't blinding. There was the sweetest angel that comforted me all through the ride and told me, relax, everything is going to be fine. And that I was going to have to go back. And he's now 82 years old. Could you imagine? You're like in this beautiful place, and all of a sudden they're telling you, "Sorry, dude, you got to go back." It's like, no, please just leave me here. Have you ever gone to Milwaukee? I've never been to Milwaukee. No, how is it? Is it nice? Buenas noches, Tarcisio. ¿Cómo estamos? Bienvenidos. So I know that I was sent back to tell others about my experience, near-death experiences. What happened to Austin that winter is what experts called a near-death experience. It can occur when doctors bring a person back to life after the heart flatlines and breath stops, which happens when a person dies for any reason whatsoever, not just during a heart attack. Millions of people have reported near-death experiences since the cardiopulmonary resuscitation, better known as CPR. They could have just written CPR. Come on, CNN. It was invented in 1960. Interesting. CPR was invented in 1960. So what happened before that? People would just die. It's like, we don't know how to bring you back. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. An NYU long-gone health intensive care physician who has researched phenomena for decades, Dr. Sam Parnia. He calls the uncovered part of this the hidden consciousness. Okay, so they're calling the hidden consciousness the soul. Could that be an appropriate name for a soul? Hidden consciousness, right? It's maybe, why not? Yeah, wouldn't it just be your subconscious? Of death by measuring electrical activity in the brain when the heart stops and breathing ceases. Many people report the same experience. Their vivid consciousness become heightened and more vivid, and their thinking became sharper and clearer. All white doctors like myself are trying to, not myself, the guy that wrote this, are trying to revive them and think that they're dead, said Parnia. They have a sensation that they've been separated from the body and can see and hear doctors and nurses, and they were able to report that doctors were doing to them in a 360-degree angle way. That's inexplicable to anybody, of course. Yeah, because you're so close-minded over these things. Love the tan. Thank you. Working on it. We got some sun back here in Tulum. I remember that I had a dear friend. His name was Julius, and he had a near-death experiences in an energy therapy that we had together. And I remember seeing him just cold, no breath whatsoever. He was just laying there. Stop breathing. I was basically taking him like through this regression. Sorry, guys. I just realized my cup, I can't drink this. Did you know that copper cups actually do get like this green stuff that you gotta get rid of, and it might be toxic? So yeah, not drinking my water today. Anyway, so he was going through this regression, and he had a near-death experience. And he wrote a full book about it. He said, you brought me to this near-death experience where consciously, he didn't die, like, it was on purpose. You know, this is something that he would meditate for long hours during the day and practice actually coming down and just lowering his breath and his heart to a specific heart rate, where at that specific moment it just stopped beating for those seconds. Actually, no, it was more like a 3 to 5 minute process, and I was freaking out because it was the first time that it ever happened to me while I was guiding someone. And I'm here on the phone with my husband saying, I think I just killed him. And he's like, no, don't worry. You know? So, and then of course when he started breathing again, I was like, you know. So, but I mean, it was freaky, and he was African American, very, very dark skinned, but his lips all of a sudden started turning like white. So I knew something was wrong. But I'm like, okay, Jenny, just breathe, follow trust the process. It's gonna be okay. He's somewhere in limbo land. Let him travel through the ether and see what he finds. And yeah, I don't remember now exactly the story that he told me. I know he wrote a book about it, but he's no longer with us. Not because of that, because of something else. But this is more normal than you think, actually. I think people have near-death experiences all the time and sometimes don't even notice that they're having it. You know that you can have one of these in your sleep, not because you just had a close to a heart attack, but you can actually have these experiences while you're sleeping and travel to other dimensions, see yourself. These are called astral projections, okay? So you can see yourself laying down on the bed. You can probably still feel your home. And you can do this purposely. And I'm saying this because I've done it. It's amazing. I mean, you're even able to travel, like your soul is able to leave your body, travel through, it's like you're flying through the city and end up wherever you want. You can visit your grandma if you want. You can visit anybody you want. My first astral projection that I did purposely, and this was me basically sitting down, I wouldn't say like on top, but it was like, my husband was behind me, and we were both sitting with like our legs open, holding hands, right? So my back was on his chest, and all of a sudden, you know, we were doing this purposely. This is when I don't remember the year, but it was a time when there were kids that were trapped in a cave, and it was like a worldwide thing, and we were just starting to do like energy missions, and we said, okay, well, you know, if it can help at all, then yeah, let's try this. So I remember, I don't think I've ever spoken about this live, but I'll just tell you my story. If you believe it, great. If you don't, I don't care. So I remember all of a sudden we started doing our breathing exercise, and I remember just sinking into his body. It was probably one of the strangest sensations at that moment, because I've had strangest. So at that moment, it was, I held back because it was like, whoa, like, nope, I don't want to do that. and he's like, it's okay, just, you know, let go and just allow the process to, whatever happens, right? So I'm like, okay, so I knew it was safe, you know, because I was with him. So, so there I go again, you know, deep breathing, we start meditating, you start feeling like you're elevating, and I feel again like my soul just basically just whoop, goes back into his body. And I can't say I felt his body, but I did feel like we were one, like we united into this really large energy. And then we elevated from the place where we were, which in that case was our apartment in Miami Beach, on the beach. And I remember going through the city, like I would see the lights, I would see the streets, I would see the cars, and the same as like the movies, guys, okay? And you can say this was all imagination, you know, maybe it was, I don't know. It felt very real to me. And all of a sudden, I was inside the cave, and I would see these children. I don't even remember how many of them they were, because I've done this so many times since, but I would see them, and I just remember giving them comfort. I remember just being like a hopeful like sensation, because remember that energies can travel. Like you can travel and visit somebody that you love, believe it or not, with your energy. So if somebody is in despair, or somebody is in a moment of giving up, you know, when they say like, all of a sudden I just had the sensation that everything was going to be okay, or that help was on the way, or just something, and you can't really explain what it is, you know, and it could be an angel, it could be a family member that passed away, or it could be somebody that's still alive on the other side of the world that is doing some energy work to reach to you so they can give you hope. So I remember one in particular of the kids that because the cave was very, the one that I saw at least, it was almost like they were sitting on a line, and that they reacted to something. It wasn't me. It was just like an energy, like a light or a sensation, but like some kind of an orb, and that they were crying, and they were, you know, they had a couple of they were close to running out of everything. Okay, so at the end of the day, by the way, the story was good. I mean, they ended up getting all the kids out. God, I can't remember which one of these was. Was it in Chile? It might have been in Chile. But I don't know, my memory's so bad, and there's been so many experiences since that I don't remember, but it was my first experience ever that I've done with astral projection, and it was so intense, it was so meaningful. When I came back to my body, I was crying because it's almost like I felt the sorrow and the feeling of despair that these kids had. But I felt really good about it because for whatever reason, I felt like they received in the area where they were, or at least some of them, some kind of hope, of strength, of keep going, you know, like help is on the way kind of thing. So was it real or not real? You know, nobody will ever know. For me, it was very real, and to this day, it's real. But, you know, I know people are very skeptical about these things. So then I tried it again, and I tried it with somebody that I actually know. It was one of my husband's best friend, and I said, you know what, I'm testing out my astral projection, and, you know, I want to see if you can see me. I'm not kidding, by the way, you guys. I can interview him anytime. And he was he's very close to us, you know, so we had like a constant connection. And I said, okay, are you ready? So he was on his bed, and I said, I'm going to do this at this time of night, okay? So, and when I'm done, I'm going to call you, and you're going to tell me what's up. Because you got to test these things out. It's almost like telepathy. When I started, well, we'll continue with that. Because at the beginning, you think that you're crazy, but then when you actually test it out on people, and people have experiences, you're like, okay, I'm not so crazy. You know, we're all a little crazy, but not that much. So I did the same thing, okay, my meditation, purposely leaving my body, literally like seeing your body there. You're leaving your body, you're going to visit this person. And no, it wasn't in Thailand. It was somewhere, I'm pretty sure it was Chile. It was in Thailand. But I know it's happened in Thailand too. So anyway, so his name was Louis. And I went to visit Louis. And I just stood in front of him next to his bed. And that's all I did. I didn't speak. I didn't anything. It was a test, right? So the next day, he calls my husband up and he tells him the experience. And he's like, I didn't used to believe in these things, but Jenny was butt naked in my room. Because I'm always naked, you know, and when I do any kind of meditation, I'm always naked as well. He's like, so he's like, I saw her, it wasn't even a silhouette. He's like, I saw her, like she was standing right next to me. And it was like a hologram. She's like, I wasn't hallucinating. You know, I was about to go to sleep. I knew that, you know, this is a practice, but I can't believe it. He's like, and I got up this morning, he says to him, feeling amazing. But you know, everything is going great. But you know what? There's something that I don't feel like it's a part of me, and it's that I have a really nasty attitude. And this was when I was, I think, like 23, when I started doing this, and I started working with energy like in my 20s. And my attitude was really bad back in the day. Like, I come from an Italian background family where like my dad would be like the one to like bitch at you, and like he didn't speak to his grandfather. I mean, we just had a really strong attitude, but not the nice kind of attitude. Like I'm the nicest person ever, but if you screw with me, like my Italian part is gonna come out. And at that moment, I was working on myself. You know, I was working on cleansing myself, my personality, my energy, my traumas, my negativity. I mean, basically everything that I didn't know that I've been able to overcome until today. So what happened was that my astral projection to him transferred some of, you know, my energy to him, but at the same time, because my personality, you know, your personality goes with the energy that you emanate. That is usually what you feel when people are with you. So if somebody's kind, you're going to feel kind and loving. If somebody is kind, but they do have that little part, you're also going to feel that part. That's our perception, right? Our perception is that of the energy that the person emanates. So we had to reverse it, like we had to do it again and like take it back. So I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I haven't worked in that part anymore. It was just kind of like, you know, testing it out and seeing if I could leave my body. So he's like, but I'm like so positive. He's like, you have no idea. Like I woke up with such a strength, you know, like everybody's like, wow, like I feel charged. I feel great. Everything is great. But if anybody talks to me in a bad way, I just snap. So that was my second out of body experience in emanating energy to somebody else in a distance that I had, and it was really funny because I mean these are all tests, right? That you do. Like I said, you start with something that might seem surreal because people don't really talk about it. It's not normal to talk about it, and maybe you do keep it to yourself. But once you start testing it out, then that's when you really feel confident about it and say, okay, it's happening. I can do it. So now I do it whenever I need, whenever somebody needs. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, it's really interested, and all of you guys could do it. So it's there's my story of astral projection. Okay, let me read you guys. Hey, Martin. Jenny, you're an amazing talker. Perfect English and Spanish. We're doing just English right now, you guys. How can I know if that wasn't a dream or a nightmare? He wasn't sleeping, he was awake. Hello from Long Island. How are you, Martin? Best aberration ever. But you have a good attitude now. Yes, absolutely. No, like my attitude, like my I guess you could say the negative, like snappy part of me. I think it was probably the hardest thing that I had to work on myself because it's something that comes in your genes. It's like generation based. My brother's the same way. But I was able to totally overcome it. So now it only comes out if it's like that protection part. If somebody really messes with you, then it'll be out. But if not, no. I had a near-death experience in 2012. Pure white light from pain, okay, to warm, cloudy feeling. Then I heard a voice. Gabriel at the Pearl Gates, I think, said, "Not yet," and I came back. Interesting. Did you see Gates, or was it just you just heard it? Interesting. Not yet. Hey, Jenny, you're back home. Where did you go? What do you mean? No, I didn't go anywhere. It's just that the hurricane hit us a little bit, so the fiber optic in Tulum was off. But I've been here. It's just Starlink is not great to stream. Jenny, I have seen you naked on the news with Ayla and others. Tulum is awesome. Tulum is pretty good. A little bit dangerous now, but it's good. I had been good at deep sea diving. Deep sea diving actually is a great state of meditation. I found, I love diving. I haven't dived in a while, but it's basically like you're close to sensation, to space, and you literally just force yourself to be quiet. So that's actually a really great recommendation if anybody is if you're going through anxiety or anything like that, and you want to take a diving class. It'll help you 1,000% because you're working on your breathing. It's basically controlling your breath and controlling your mind to always be calm, and it really helps to be underwater because there's no sound. So, but try the deprivation tanks first. I want to get one. I'll let you know when I get one. Like remote viewing, as used by 3-letter agencies, they obviously believe in it. Oh, yeah, remote viewing is 1,000%. I've done that a couple of times also. Maybe I shouldn't say that live, but yes. Yeah, you can literally teletransport yourself anywhere in the world if you really wanted to. These are all, this is just all energy, you guys. So your soul is able to travel anywhere it wants. But the thing is that our bodies, it's trapped, right? Like we have it trapped because we're so filled with chemicals and everything that we've forgotten about that part. But then again, it makes sense because, what part of governments would want us to have that freedom of being able to feel that free and know that we never really die, right? Then we would have hope and we wouldn't just think that everything is money and materialism, don't you think? I like your background. Yeah, it changes. Do you still have kitties? I do. I have 4 cats. Pure white light. It was like a warm feeling. It felt like a great place to go. It's beautiful, guys. I always say that the most rewarding thing that I do with energy is soul releasing. It's when souls are trapped and they need, let's say, like a tunnel of light to use to actually cross over. That is my favorite thing to do with energy. And the stories and the things and what you see, it's exactly what it's like. It feels like you're floating. There is no tomorrow. There's no yesterday. There's no memories. You're just, it doesn't seem like a long time if you're there for a long time, you know, because time doesn't exist there. You're just observing and in peace and quiet and existing. It's basically how we should be when we're here on Earth. We should feel just existence, you know, we should be existing and doing and progressing. Of course, I think that's a difference here. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of death. It's going to be here for all of us. And I think instead of people doing funerals, they should be doing parties when somebody transcends. It's a transcending party. You know, you're going to somewhere so much more beautiful. You're going somewhere. Oh my God, where is Peter? Oh, he's. Thank you, Jackie. Peter is, yeah, behind the dying palm tree on the corner. I totally forgot about Peter. He's been hiding there for quite a while, actually. That's so cute that you remember him. Now I'm going to bring him up and hang him up. Thanks, Jackie. You're amazing. Okay, so let's see what else it says before we say goodbye. It's been reported for more than 60 years. It really depends also on what you believe. For example, if you are a Christian, you say, I saw Jesus. And if you happen to be an atheist, you say, I saw this incredible being of love and compassion. All this has been reported for 60 years. So like I said, you know, these things that we're taught in this mundane world, which is religion doesn't exist, you know, so whatever's been put in your mind is what you're going to see. I'm here for Liam Neeson the cat. Oh, he's somewhere around there. Recording brainwaves while undergoing CPR. In the study, in the Journal of Resuscitation, they have a Journal of Resuscitation, teams of trained personnel in 25 hospitals in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Bulgaria followed doctors into rooms where patients were coding or technically dead. So that's what they call dead coding, okay? While doctors performed CPR, the research teams attached devices that measured oxygen and electrical activity to the dying person's head. The average resuscitation attempt stated between 23 and 26 minutes. Wow. However, some doctors studied to perform CPR up to an hour. Ugh. Okay. Resuscitation is very intense, challenging circumstance. It's very high intensity. Nobody's ever done this before, but our independent research team were successful in carrying out the procedures without interfering in the medical care of patients. Brain activity was measured at 2 to 3 minute intervals when doctors had to stop the chest compressions or electrical shocks to see if the patient heart will restart. Would you want to be restarted, or would you just want to be let go? There was no movement. I was in silence. That's when we would make the measurements to see what's happened. We found the brains of people who were going through death have flattened, which is what you would expect. But interestingly, even up to an hour into the resuscitation process, we saw spikes. The emergence of brain electrical activity, the same as I have when talking or deep concentrating, he added. Those spikes included gamma, delta, theta, alpha, and beta waves, according to the study. Unfortunately, only 53 people of the 567 people in the study, or 10%, were actually brought back to life. Of those 28 people, they interviewed what they recalled from the experience. Only 11 patients reported being aware of during CPR, and only 6 reported a near-death experience. However, those experiences were categorized along with testimonies from 126 survivors of cardiac arrest who were not in the study and were able to show very clearly that the recorded death experience, a sense of separation, a review of your life, going to a place that feels like home, and then a recognition that you need to come back. It's like, no, not yet. Very consistent across people from all over the world. The same message was there. Okay, guys, it goes a little longer. We can continue tomorrow. But yes, I love it. Thank you. By the way, just to quote, this study was posted today in CNN Health. So that's where I'm getting this study from. I love a nudist. Peter is cool. He's also a nudist. Yes. I think Peter is vegan. You think Peter is vegan because it's green, right? He's eating a lot of that green stuff. All right, my loves. Well, stay positive, be good. We'll continue tomorrow. 7 p.m. Eastern Time here from Tulum, Mexico, the beautiful jungles of Tulum. And yes, please let me know if you have NDAs, if you want to share it with us. I think that it's super important to bring awareness to these subjects, even though, I mean, of course, there's so much more things going on, but come on, we're all here to widen up our spectrum of, what's reality? What is reality for you? Is it just what you